Hello everyone, I'm Michaela Kathleen and I'm here with another quotes video. And since this just went on Disney Plus earlier this month, I decided this month I would do my favorite quotes from Hamilton. I think Hamilton is just a nearly perfect piece of storytelling, and I highly recommend that if you can, to go watch it on Disney Plus or to read Hamilton: The Revolution. Now, when it went on Disney Plus, there were a few words from the show that were cut, and that is the various F-bombs. And these are some of my favorite lines, and it definitely adds to the line. And so when I watched, I filled in the blanks for them, because they just aren't the same without it. When they yell, "Southern motherfucking Democratic Republicans," it just isn't the same. And when Hercules Mulligan yells, "I'm Hercules Mulligan, you knock me back down, I get the fuck back up again," it's just not the same without the F-bomb. But it is nice that kids with maybe stricter parents are able to watch the show. Although I really think kids definitely should not be held back from watching extremely important works of art that are so well done and so full of creativity and have such important messages. Should be held back from that just because of a few F-bombs here and there. But other than that, from what I can tell, seeing this on Disney Plus is as good or better than seeing it in real life at a stage performance. And you get the full show and the full experience. So anyways, getting into some of my favorite quotes from the show. I've got some serious ones here and some funny ones here because it is also a funny show. And I'm going to try to not be too sing-songy with these quotes. It's hard because I know the rhythms that they're supposed to be in, but prefer not to sing here, so I will try to say them in a more natural tone, which I think will be beneficial for everyone. And starting right off with the man himself, I have a quote from Alexander Hamilton. "Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see." This is a really beautiful quote that actually is within a much longer monologue that is just incredible the whole way through, and that is his final monologue at the end of the show. And kind of spoiler alert, I am going to talk a little bit about what the monologue is about, so if you have not seen the show and you don't want to know what Hamilton's final monologue is about, turn away now. So in Hamilton's final monologue, he is having thoughts racing through his head as he faces Aaron Burr in a duel, and he is trying to decide whether to fire his weapon into the air or fire at Burr, and he knows that there's a good chance that he is about to die. And so with this quote, he is, of course, thinking about his legacy. This is a huge theme within the show of what you leave behind after you're gone, and also what people say about you after you're gone, which of course you have no control over. And so this line also continues, "I wrote some notes at the beginning of a song someone will sing for me. America, you great unfinished symphony, you sent for me. You let me make a difference, a place where even orphan immigrants can leave their fingerprints and rise up." And so this whole set of kind of two lines is just really beautiful with a lot of meaning, and also sounds very good on the ears. And this full monologue, just by itself, completely out of the context of the show, all on its own, is a masterpiece, I think. Next, I have one of the funnier quotes, which of course comes from King George, the funniest character in the show. King George has rather a breakup storyline in the show in his breakup with America, and it's a pretty funny story to track, and one of the best, funniest lines that he says is, "When push comes to shove, I will kill your friends and family to remind you of my love." My next quote comes from George Washington, and he is speaking to Hamilton here, giving him some advice from someone with some more experience. "I was just like you when I was younger, head full of fantasies of dying like a martyr. Dying is easy, young man. Living is harder." My next quote addresses the issue of slavery, which obviously was something that was going on very strongly at this time and sort of calls Thomas Jefferson's character into question. And you can really hear the anger in Hamilton's voice during these lines, and I feel like it's a sort of cathartic way for the present to express their anger towards the past. So it goes. A civics lesson from a slaver. Hey neighbor, your debts are paid 'cause you don't pay for labor. We plant seeds in the South, we create. Yeah, keep ranting. We know who's really doing the planting. And I think this also is a line that sort of gives credit to the backs of the people that America was built on, that had no choice in the matter, many of whom were willing to fight for America, but for whom America gave no credit, and often continues to give no credit. My next quote is another quote from Alexander Hamilton that focuses on the power of words. Hamilton really credits all of his success in life on his ability to write and use words. And this is shown again and again throughout the show, and this is just one of my favorite quotes that highlights that theme that is in the show. And it goes, "And when my prayers to God were met with indifference, I picked up a pen. I wrote my own deliverance." Another quote from Hamilton that is more of a funny one, more of him showing his kind of smartass side. He's debating with someone who is supporting Britain, and that person says, "I pray the king shows you his mercy," to which Hamilton replies, "Is he in Jersey?" And then my final quote is from Angelica Schuyler, and I've actually used this quote in another quotes video. During Women's History Month, I highlighted some of my favorite feminist quotes, and this was one of them. I love that Hamilton takes the time to focus on some of the powerful women that surrounded Hamilton and their part in the story. And this one goes, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and when I meet Thomas Jefferson, I'm going to compel him to include women in the sequel." So yeah, those were some of my favorite Hamilton quotes. Again, if you can go see it or read Hamilton the Revolution, I highly encourage it. This is honestly one of the best stories that I have ever come across. It is so well constructed and has so much deep meaning and so much you can learn from it that it definitely is worth your time. Thanks for watching. Remember, words matter.